Good morning. I have a dream. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most important people in America's fight for racial equality. Born in 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, King, like many others, experienced racial discrimination from a young age. Under America's so-called Jim Crow laws, segregation was enforced in southern states, meaning black people couldn't attend the same schools as white people, go to the same restaurants, and more. In his autobiography, King wrote about how age 6 his white friend wasn't allowed to play with him because he was black. This may be where his resentment of racial injustice began. In 1954, King, whose father and grandfather were pastors, moved to Montgomery, Alabama to become pastor at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. A year later, Rosa Parks was arrested in Montgomery for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white person. This led to the 13-month Montgomery bus boycott. King was chosen to lead the Montgomery Improvement Association, which directed the boycott. He quickly became a prominent face in America's civil rights movement, which also made him a target. His home was bombed. What? His family was threatened, and he was stabbed while singing copies of his first book. But inspired by the nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi in India, King continued his peaceful fight for justice. After Montgomery, King and others founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference to coordinate more protests. And one of the most famous was the 1963 March on Washington. It was here in front of over 200,000 people that King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, legally ending segregation in the U.S. That year, King won the Nobel Peace Prize, but in 1968, at age 39, he was shot and killed while standing on his hotel balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. King was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1977 and the Congressional Gold Medal in 2014. Since 1986, he was being honored on the third Monday of January on what is known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Wow. Discussion. What did you know about Martin Luther King Jr. before reading this article? Almost nothing. Just famous. Have you ever heard King's I Have a Dream speech? Would you be interested in reading King's autobiography? Yes. I want to listen to the I Have a Dream speech. Why do you think racial equality is still an issue in the U.S. today? History. Are there any notable human or civil rights activists from your country? For the discussion, what historical figures would you most like to have met? Who are the most admired figures in your country's recent history? Have you ever taken part in a protest? If so, what did you protest against? What issues would you focus on if you became the leader of your country? Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Haha. Martin Luther King Jr., what are your thoughts on this idea? Yes, you have to go get it.